Meanwhile, this morning, the Trump administration is continuing a blitz of major changes, which now involves the jobs of millions of federal workers. So all federal employees in the United States are being offered a buyout to resign. This is part of an effort to shrink the government. So 3 million Americans run our government, and 70,000 of them are right here in Georgia. That includes people who deliver your mail, inspect your food, screen you at the airport, and many do have jobs where they work from home. The president also executive order. This one ends federal support for gender transitions for people who are under the age of 19. Over the last couple of years, though, more than 20 states, including Georgia, have passed laws restricting or banning gender-affirming care for transgender minors. Earlier on Tuesday, President Donald Trump tried to freeze federal funding, and that would pause trillions of dollars in federal grants and loans. The White House said the individual assistance would not be affected, but a judge blocked that order. Democratic lawmakers said that the average American could be impacted if the programs that depend on federal dollars run out of money. But the judge's order only lasts until Monday afternoon. We are following all the Trump administration changes and executive orders every day. So if you want to stay up to date with what's happening at the White House, just download the free Atlanta News First app.